Before we start, we want to take a moment to honor Rob Reiner. As a director, he gave us films that understood people, smart, funny, and deeply human. From This is Spinal Tap and Stand By Me to The Princess Bride and When Harry Met Sally, his work proves that heart and humor belong together. Rob Reiner didn't just make great movies, he made lasting ones. Thank you, Mr. Reiner. And now, here's our show.
I think perhaps a holiday apart might be a very good thing for both of us.
In other words, you're off in search of a little adventure all on your own.
Well, if I were off in search of that sort of adventure, I shouldn't go to Cornwall.
Oh, you never know what you might find down there if you tried.
I may be a bit light-headed, but to me you seem to have a
Tail?
Yeah.
I have. I'm a mermaid.
Excuse me, Miss Miranda, but don't you find your tail rather a handicap with the gentleman?
Oh, no. It provides what you might call an element of surprise.
I shouldn't wonder.
I love the way you say Miranda. Say it again.
Miranda. Miranda. Miranda.
She never wears any panties.
Never wears panties?
No?
Plenty of other underclothes she has, but not a single pair of those. I think there's something fishy about Miss Cruella.
Hello, I'm film historian Tony Maeda.
And I'm Brad Shreve, who's just a guy who likes movies.
We discuss movies and television from Hollywood's golden age. We go behind the scenes and share our opinions, too.
And of course, being the average guy, my opinions are the ones that matter.
As does your self-delusion. Welcome to Going Hollywood.
Tony, I appreciate you running the show all alone or mostly alone while I'm gone with your guest hosts and that sort of thing. But I'm hurt. I'm more hurt than I ever imagined that you could possibly hurt me.
How are you hurt?
Well, when I said I was going to take some time off to move, we agreed that you could have a little dalliance, like with Brandon. But you had a second date with Brandon.
Oh, rules. The rules. Oh. But he's out of town.
A fling is one thing.
He's in Illinois, though. Is that okay? He's in Illinois. Because we're out of town. It's okay. Is it?
It's a long-distance thing. Okay. I'll let it slide.
It's along in the same city, I thought it was. I thought that was the thing. Uh-oh, because I got one coming up soon with someone in the same city. Uh-oh. First of all, who the hell are you? I'm sorry. Have we met? You look vaguely familiar.
Long ago.
You look like someone I used to know with are those castanets. What do you? Oh my God, listeners, Brad's back. Can you believe it? I can't believe it.
Hola.
I have missed you so much. I missed you so much. I loved my guest co-hosts. I love doing it by myself, I'll admit. But it's just not. You know what? It's just not the same. It's just not the same. I'm so happy to see you on the other side of the screen. And to know that you guys are, tell everybody, how are you doing? You're in Spain now.
We are doing so fantastic. You know, there was very little reservation on my part to move and very little on Maurice's move. We knew this was the right move. And I got to tell you, granted, we were in the honeymoon phase, so, we're willing to admit that things could change. But we really can't. It's better than we ever dreamed.
Oh, wow.
It's amazing here. The lifestyle fits us. It's so laid back. The town we love is a cute little town on the Mediterranean, and life is good. Life is good. It was a good decision.
Your environment looks fabulous. I love those. I love that ceiling. That looks great. It's fabulous.
Yeah, here in our 300-year-old townhouse, I should say.
That looks beautiful. That's beautiful.
And we're in the new part of town. Because this was part of an urban renewal that took place in the early...
What, 1600 as opposed to 1400? Is that the new part of town is 1600?
Around the corner from us is the oldest street in town, which is built around the 1400s, 1500s, somewhere around there. And that, when I say the oldest street in town, I mean the oldest existing street in town.
Oh, wow.
So, a lot of the old city wall is nearby here. The castle up on the hill you can kind of see near us. The castle's not much left of it, which is actually a very interesting history.
I have a castle up the hill from me, by the way.
The magic castle.
The magic castle. So we both have castles right behind us. Sandcastles.
If you come to Spain to tour the castles, you do not want to come to our little town of Oliva to see the castle because there's not much left of it. But it is very cute, incredible views from up there. And as I always say, it's the best view of a castle that I ever had, better than I ever had in Los Angeles.
Well,
so because there are at least 2 walls left up there.
Besides the Magic Castle, what's that one that Phil Spector lived in? That castle in wherever the hell that is.
Altadena.
Was it Altadena? I don't know. It's somewhere over there.
It was somewhere, Altadena. Yeah, I think it was
somewhere east. Well, I'm so happy. I'm so happy that you're back for 2 more episodes. 1, 2, done. Then we're done with the season. No, I've been talking about this a lot. This is we are back for 2 more. And then we're done with our 2nd season of Going Hollywood, which I'm really excited about because, frankly, I need a break.
I'm sure you do. You must be exhausted running the show.
I'm a little exhausted.
Whoa. I got to say something, Tony. This is something that really drove me crazy. So every week when we record, we have this debate, okay, who has more time to edit this week than the next? And we have to figure out how we're going to fit this into our personal schedules and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
You did this all by yourself. And not only did that, you did a major production with sound effects and music effects. And I'm like, Jesus, when did he have time to do all this when we normally can't even get us to normal edit this show?
Well, I
was quite impressed. It was very good.
Thank you. That's your schedule, not mine. I'm waiting for you. I'm like, Brad, are you done yet? Are you done yet? No, the Valley of the Dolls one was the only one I had sound effects with because I was like, I'm by myself. I have to have some kind of fun sound effects, and I'm like crossing my fingers that the internet spiders don't hear that music. But you know what? I don't think it's a big deal. I don't think they will notice it. I really don't. Maybe they will. I don't know. We'll take it out next year.
It's hit or miss.
It's hit or miss.
It's hit or miss. If it vanishes, we know they caught it.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah. No, it was a lot of fun. I truly, and I thank my guest co-hosts and my guests while Brad was gone. It was so much fun to talk to you and get different perspectives. But I am, as I said, I'm very glad that Brad is back to close out our 2nd season. And I'm very excited to talk about this movie because it's Brad's choice. I thought, you know what? He's been gone for 5 years now, 6 years? How long were you gone? You should at least have a choice for your return.
Yes. And I have talked about this one for quite some time. And actually, before we continue, one last thing I want to say is thank you for your guest hosts. You guys did a great job. Thank you for filling in. And it certainly gave me a nice break to move without too added stress that I needed.
Right.
Or that I didn't need, I should say. And thank you for allowing me to do Miranda. As you know, this is very near and dear to my heart.
Mm-hmm.
This is a movie I'm very passionate about, though I've never seen it before.
Wait a minute, what? Wait, come again? What?
Glynis Johns, as you know, Glynis was a friend of mine. Glynis Johns, who most people know as the mother on Mary Poppins. She and I met in the early 2000s, and Glynis was one of the most conservative, cantankerous, demanding individuals you'd ever meet in your life, and I absolutely loved her to death, and we hit it off instantaneously. And we had so much fun together.
But you've never... Say what now? But you've never seen this film?
No. We hung out together. We chatted together. We were going to go through her entire library. She wanted me to organize it for her. And in the process, we were going to sit down and watch every single one of her films, which were, she didn't have a huge catalog, but she had a good sized catalog. Mm-hmm. And it was just one of those things we never got around to doing. And so I never have actually seen this film.
So how did you know you wanted to watch it? How did you know that it would be any good?
Well, I didn't know that it was going to be any good or not. I just knew Glynis, and I love and adore Glynis, and I miss her. She died last year, and I was very sad when she passed away. 100
years old.
She made it to 100, which doesn't surprise me because, as I said, she was cantankerous. And if anybody was going to hang on, it was Glynis. And here's the thing I'm going to say about cantankerous. She's the kind of type, if people didn't know her, they'd probably think, oh, this is a woman that was entitled or felt entitled. Mm-hmm. But that is not true. Glynis demanded people behave in a manner that she expected of herself.
Ah, right.
She was a true professional that expected the best of herself and therefore did expect nothing less from anyone else. So if somebody did not meet her expectations, man, she let them know it.
Just like me. Just like me. You know what? I don't ask any more of you, Brad, than I ask of myself. Hello.
You don't ask much of yourself, I'll say that. No, Glynis is one of those, man, when she'd let somebody have it, you'd be like on your head like, oh, no, I'm not with this woman. I mean, she had no patience whatsoever.
Well, she was quite a woman. Quite a woman. I mean, I didn't know her, but, you know.
She was quite a woman, and I didn't even recognize her at first. We were talking, and somebody said, oh, don't you know who that is? And I'm like, no, and I can't say why we hit it off so well, other than she and I just really connected, and I was doing a lot of sketching at the time. I found out that she loved frogs, and so I started sketching her frogs, and she started hanging my frogs up around. She loved my frogs, and
I didn't know that.
Whatever we just connected. We just had this really. It was not very long lived because she did leave the area. I believe.
So you met her back here. You met her. Where'd you meet her?
I met her in L.A. Before when she was in the L.A. area. I know she did eventually end up in a assisted living care, which is where she died. But I believe she went to Palm Springs, if I remember correctly. And that's when we lost touch.
Like all us old gals do eventually. We end up, unless we end up in Spain. Unless it's Spain. It's either Palm Springs or Spain, and sometimes we go from Palm Springs to Spain.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. No, but I chose to come to Spain. So
that's so cool. Well, that's amazing. No, I had never, and this is, yes, hold on to your phones. I'd never seen this film before. I had never seen it. I had heard of it, but I'm trying to think if I heard of it because you told me about it or someone else. But I had never seen it. So it was really... And here I thought this was like one of your favorite movies. I was like, oh, I have to watch this movie because it's one of Brad's favorite movies. Am I going to like it? Am I not going to like it? And then I'll just say, I thought it was so charming. I loved this film. I thought it was a fun, sweet, charming, very, 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 very British film. I thought it was wonderful.
Oh, it was incredibly British. I have a lot wrong with this film, and I still loved every second of it. It is, as you said,
not surprised.
Just plain charming. By the way, before we go on, I got to tell you something.
Uh-oh. Is it about George Stevens? Because I don't want to hear it. Watch it.
You're gonna hate to hear this.
I'm sure.
You're absolutely gonna hate to hear this.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna backtrack and then we're gonna come back to this film. When you and Brandon were talking about the film, and you were talking about the George Stevens film, and I was actually sitting in a cafe overlooking the Paseo and having my coffee in the morning, and you're talking about this film. I'm like, God, that really sounds familiar. And then you started talking more, and I'm like, oh my God, this is a George Stevens film? I love this film.
Wait a minute. So you had seen The More the Merrier?
I had seen it, and not only had I seen it, I love the film.
See, you just never know.
And I'm like, oh my God, here's a George Stevens film that I love, and Tony is talking about it without me.
Again, because you didn't know George Stevens directed it. It's like Giant. If I had told you that George Stevens directed this, you'd be like, I hate it. Oh, she looks like a witch. Oh.
No, it is one of his better films. I will tell you that. Anyway, back to Miranda.
Yeah, back to Miranda.
Back to Miranda. I really enjoyed this film a lot. It was a lot of fun. It was very charming, very whimsical. The production was a little odd. It was very choppy, as I'm sure you noticed.
Yeah.
There were scenes that were only 5 seconds long and were nothing more than a glance.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it kept, it happened at the beginning, and then it kept happening and happening. Like in the first 9 minutes, I think I counted 10 scenes. And
yes.
Some of them were like very, very quick. And the production company, which I'll have to look up, I don't remember the name of it right now.
Gainsborough Production.
Apparently that's what they were known for doing.
Yes.
Like they would have all these clips and just a glance at something, and they're like, okay, let's stick it in right there. And I'm like, well, you sure did.
It's a hallmark of these British films, like Ealing Studios. Remember we talked about, I want to do The Lady Killer sometime. Ealing Studios, Gainsborough Productions. That's British cinema. That's the way British films work. Don't forget, we just fought a war, and they, they almost were decimated in World War II. So a lot of these films they seem to be quickies. But I think that's one of the charming things about this movie. It moves. It's so fast. It's like less
yeah.
than 90 minutes. So it's an enjoyable ride. And the scenes just go, 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 go. And charming. Charming, and it's fast. And I love that. No big, long exposition. I guess we should say she plays a mermaid in this film. And, you know, and he meets her, she pulls him under. Next thing you know, she's in London. And the plot is on.
That's the thing. It opens up with he and his wife, and they saying, okay, let's take separate vacations. Boom, all of a sudden he's on a boat. Boom, all of a sudden he's in the water. Boom, all of a sudden he's in a cave, and she says, I want to go to London. And boom, he's back with his wife with the mermaid in London.
And she has a baby.
Like no time to worry about it. What?
Where did this mer baby come from? I know we're jumping way ahead.
I had to do research at the end.
Well, let's wait. Let's save that.
Yes, we'll save.
I'll remind you to the end. Let's not forget.
I was so confused by that. I had to deep dive into where this baby came from.
Let's not forget about the mer baby. Yeah.
No, we won't forget about the mer baby.
So should I give the brief synopsis of this, because it's real? It's like 3 sentences, like the film.
Please do.
It says, and this is from IMDb. I'm doing what Brad usually does. I just put what Brad usually does. Suddenly you're back, and I've lost all grasp of English language. A young married physician discovers a mermaid and gives in to her request to be taken to see London. Comedy and romantic entanglements ensue thereafter. That's the kind of synopsis you want. Okay, Don, that's what happens.
Hey, that's pretty much it.
That is it. But, okay, first things first. So it's about a mermaid. Glynis Johns plays a mermaid. And Glynis Johns, at this point, so she was born in 23. Mm-hmm. This is 48. So somebody quickly do the math for me. What, she's 20...
What is it, 25?
5? She is stunningly beautiful.
And she's adorable, too. So
but she's gorgeous. Gorgeous.
And cute as can be. Cute as a button.
I think we should tell people, for people who don't really know, who's Glynis Johns, trying to put a face to the name. She plays Winifred Banks in Mary Poppins. She's the mother. She's Sister Suffragette. Cast off the shackles of yesterday. So that's Glynis Johns. And she's beautiful in Mary Poppins. Don't get me wrong. But at 25, stunning. She puts Daryl Hannah to shame. I'm sorry, but she does. She is stunningly beautiful in this. And you believe she'd be a mermaid and all these men would fall in love with her. Yeah, you would. She's gorgeous.
Yeah. And if you were watching this movie and didn't know who she was to begin with, if you've ever watched Mary Poppins, you would know right away from her voice.
Absolutely. It's the same voice.
Send in the clowns.
Yes, and she also was the first person to record, because she was the original Desiree in the first production of Little Night Music. And Sondheim wrote Send in the Clowns. You kind of say for her, but he wrote it definitely with her voice in mind, because it doesn't do a lot. There's not a lot of octaves in Send in the Clowns. That's just, a couple notes. And he wrote it with her voice in mind. And I think she gives the definitive, I like Streisand's too, but of course I do. But she gives a definitive performance of Send in the Clowns. And so does Judy Collins.
Absolutely. And she was quite proud of that, I will say.
I think she should be. She won a Tony Award for that.
Yes,
but not only, here's something that I was like, what? This is so crazy. What? Also in this film, in Miranda, is David Tomlinson, who plays Mr. Banks in Mary Poppins. So you see your future. It's like their backstory. You're like, oh, I love when they do shit like that. I love when when actors work together, then work together later. It's kind of like when you're watching B. Arthur and McClanahan and Golden Girls, and then you see a clip of them from Maude, and you're like, oh, that's Dorothy and Blanche years ago. You know what I mean? So you have David Tomlinson, Mr. Banks, and Glynis Johns, Mrs. Banks, much younger and in black and white. And you're like, that's how they met, and they had those two little brats. So
Mary Poppins was magical after all.
She was. This is a black and white film, and it follows Miranda Truella, like Cruella de Vil Truella. Miranda Truella, she's a beautiful mermaid, and it's basically her effect on every single man she comes in contact with, who she basically seduces. She's an outrageous flirt, and she basically all fall in love with her.
And what I love about her is it's all a game to her. It's just, it's like she loves that power of just manipulating them and doesn't even care after that.
Well, it's her power as a mermaid. I think that's the whole, the siren song of the mermaid. She can't help it. The girl can't help it. You know what I mean? She's a mermaid. Men are going to fall in love with her. But I love how she pulls Nigel. Is it Nigel? No. Griffith Jones plays Paul, right?
Yes. Well, I'm not really familiar with him, but I really like him as an actor. I probably would know him if I know more.
Very handsome.
Yes, he is.
She pulls him off the boat, and she pulls him into her undersea cave. I guess it's called an undersea cave. And she wants to keep him there forever. And she's like, okay. And I think he's there for like a week. And he's like, finally, he forgets about his wife. He's like, okay, I'm like, okay, this is a little strange. And the only reason that she lets him go, she's going to keep him captive. And he's okay with it because she's so gorgeous. The only reason she lets him go is because she wants to go to the world. She's like Ariel. She wants to be where the people are, but she can't get legs. She's got to have she still has her fin. So he brings her up to London, and the entire time she has to have these long couture dresses made to hide her tail and her fin. And everybody has to carry her around everywhere. It's so... I was thinking, I don't know if this film... Now, there was a censor board in Britain. In the UK, obviously, you can see when this movie starts, it says it was passed by the censor board. There was not the same kind of production code that we had here in the United States. And I'm just wondering if it would have passed in the United States because the looks and the fact that they're touching... I mean, it's really very, very sexual.
And especially later in the movie where the women were talking about that she never wears panties. I'm like, oh, no, this would never have been in the United States. Well, of course she doesn't wear panties. She has a fin, for God's sakes, but they don't know that. So
they don't know that.
They're shocked that she never wears panties.
But she seduces all these men, and these men are absolutely enamored with her. They're just... It's incredible. It's incredible. The fact that this actually flew in Britain and the UK when it never would have flown in the United States. But here's what's interesting. There was another Mermaid story in 1948. And one of the reasons why I think probably you're thinking that this thing looks kind of slipshod, like it was put together really fast, is because it was. Because Miranda is based on a play. And when they started to make the film, they got wind of another mermaid movie being made in Hollywood called Mr. Peabody and the Mermaid, which is also a 1948 American romantic film fantasy with William Powell and Anne Blythe. So they were kind of like, you kind of had your competing mermaids. Remember that year when we had competing Capotes? We had the two Capote films. Well, this is the year of the two mermaid films. It was kind of put together very, very quickly. And I've never seen Mr. Peabody and the Mermaid, to tell you the truth. But I can't imagine it's any more charming than this is. I just can't imagine it.
I've heard the film and I have never watched it. This film, it's extremely charming. And I made the comments about how choppy it was, and I wouldn't say that detracted from it. It just was like odd. And it took me a minute to get used to that. But once I accepted, okay, that's the way that they made this film and that's the way it is, I was okay with it. It just was kind of caught me off guard in the beginning.
It's a different style of filmmaking. It's
very uneven.
It's the British style. It's fast and furious. And if you watch any film, as I just said about the Lady Killers, it's the same kind of a style. In 1945, there was a production of Blithe Spirit. Now, this film, I want to say, this starts very Noel Coward. It's very, very Noel Coward in the beginning because they're out there having cocktails on the terrace, on the veranda, and they're talking about how bored they are with their marriage. And so he's going to go off on his little holiday, and that's how he meets Miranda, and he gets pulled under. But they're so blasé. They're so freaking blasé about everything that happens in this movie. It doesn't matter. All these men are falling in love with her, and all of their fiancés and all the wives are like, oh, dear. Oh, that Miranda. Oh, but she is pretty. It's so funny because they're so blasé about everything. And if this was American, they would be up in arms about all this shit. Mm-hmm. Don't you? Yeah, absolutely. Yep. I mean, if this was Bette Davis and in any Bette Davis film from the 40s, there'd be so much trouble. But no, they're also blasé about it. And then she leaves and all right, well, let's go on with our lives. Oh, you're forgiven. Let's go. I mean, it's just, that's the way it is.
I can't wait to go out and see how she handles with your husband. I mean, it's like, what?
Exactly. I hope he doesn't leave you for her. Oh. Yeah. I mean, it's just, okay. It's just, that's the British way. That's the Noel Coward British way. So yes, this was based on a play written by Peter Blackmore, who also wrote the script for this. So I can imagine this is very theatrical. This film is very, I think one of the reviewers said, a lot of funny fish jokes, which there are. There's a lot of funny fish jokes in this movie.
No, I can't count the number of times they said something's fishy about this.
Yeah, it's very funny. It's very funny. It was directed by Ken Anakin, who was actually the second director. And as I said, it was based on the play Miranda by Peter Blackmore. So it was, I don't want to get into if it was a hit or... It was a hit, by the way, P.S. And there was a sequel. Did you know about the sequel?
I do know about the sequel, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about this film, because of the way Glynis talked about this film and the way she talked about the sequel is one of the reasons why it really stuck in my head.
Let's hold on to the sequel and hold on to the Merbaby.
I will hold on to it.
Because there's somebody else we have to talk about. Because the minute she walked on screen, I screamed. Because she's one of my favorite.
Who in the world are you talking about?
Margaret Rutherford.
Oh, is that who? I never, for a million years, dreamed that's who you were going to be bringing up.
Who did you think I was going to bring up?
Her?
Margaret Rutherford. Oh, okay.
Of course.
I'm sorry.
Sarcasm, Tony.
I'm not used to. I haven't had sarcastic comments for 5 weeks, so I have to get back in the groove of this. Oh, Brad is faking me out again. Okay, very fun. All right, yes, Margaret Rutherford, Miss Marple herself. I love Margaret Rutherford. She always plays the same character, and she is brilliant at it.
She was especially kooky in this one.
Did you ever see, when we were talking about Death on the Nile, way back when the world was young on this season, and I talked about that there was a series of 60s Miss Marple films that featured Margaret Rutherford, and they had very bossa nova, cool beats, and she played Miss Marple. She was Agatha Christie's favorite Miss Marple. She didn't like the movies, but she loved Rutherford. And you can see Rutherford's is a very earthy is not even the right word for Margaret Rutherford. I mean, she's a big woman, you know what I mean? She's taken the world on, and she's very British, and she's very, matter of fact and very funny and very kooky and very quirky. She was one of these dames who was born at 45 and stayed 45 or 55, I think, with Margaret Rutherford. And because she looks exactly the same in the Miss Marple films in the 60s as she does in this film from 1948.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me. She looks like the type that would be the same age from, like Ben Kingsley has looked the same since the 70s.
Yes. It's that kind of thing. It's like, she's so wonderful in this. She plays the nurse. And what I love most about her, because they need a nurse to take care, because basically Glynis Johns, she's a mermaid, you know what I mean? So she's supposed to be underwater. It's not good for her to be on land. Okay. So Griffin Jones, who plays Paul Martin, the guy that Miranda pulls under and then brings her into London, hires Margaret Rutherford as her nurse. And I love the fact that Margaret Rutherford is so excited when she sees that Miranda is a mermaid. When she sees the tail, she goes, "I'm a mermaid. I've always believed in mermaids." And she's like her cohort.
Not the least bit shocked.
Not shocked. Because she's British. She's very matter of fact. Oh, she's a mermaid. Of course she's a mermaid. And excuse my British. I'm sorry. But it's so funny because she's so much fun in this. She's so kooky. She's so quirky. She's so Margaret Rutherford. Did you ever see Margaret Rutherford? She won an Oscar in '63 for The VIPs. Did you ever see her in The VIPs?
That doesn't ring a bell. No, I don't believe so.
She won an Oscar for Best Supporting Actress. It was the first movie that Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor made after Cleopatra. And they're like, we got to capitalize on this. So they made The VIPs. And it's one of those omnibus films where there's a bunch of characters all converging on an airport. It's kind of like Airport. And they all have different stories, except there's no bomber on a plane. And so Margaret Rutherford plays an elderly woman who's very rich. She's just like this. Everything Margaret Rutherford does, whether it be Miss Marple, whether it be this nurse, whether it be the VIPs, this is her character in this. She just did Blithe Spirit, and she played Madame Arcady. Noel Coward. And she's very much matter of fact, nose to the grindstone, pull yourself up by your bootstraps type of character. And she's so wonderful in this because she's a great foil for Glynis Johns and for Griffith Jones, who plays Dr. Martin. I loved her.
I did too. I loved her as well. We kind of danced around a little bit. This movie does something that, actually we didn't dance around it. This movie did something that Splash danced around, where in Splash, Daryl Hannah's character Madison develops legs when she's on land.
Right.
They had the extra challenge in this film that Miranda's legs did not grow. She never had legs ever.
Never got
so
legs.
She had to be an invalid wrapped up in a blanket where people carried around. Now, men were carrying around and nobody noticed that they were fins, but whatever. It was still
Well, she had
fun.
very long couture. That was it. Nobody thought, why am I making an 8-foot dress for this woman who appears to be about 5'2"? And so she's got these long flowing robes that she carries it, and then she's put in the wheelchair. And she left the scene at the park. So she gets David Tomlinson, who plays the chauffeur, to drive her to the park, and they're feeding the seals at the park. And of course, she goes right up to the front, to the gate, and they're throwing the fish to the seal, and she just keeps watching the fish, and then it's cut. The fish goes up in the air. The people look at her, and suddenly she's got a fin in her mouth, and she swallows the fin. And then she talks to the seal. She goes, oh, 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 oh.
Oh, I love that.
It was great. It was so funny because it was so economic. It was just, you got the idea, you knew what was happening there, and everybody's just like, what? That woman just ate a fish, but she's in a wheelchair, so they don't pay attention to her. I also love the fact that she...
and actually, I expected her to swallow you could tell that the fish was going to go flying in the air and she was going to swallow it.
Right.
Her talking seal was the one that caught me off guard.
That was hysterical. How about that siren song? So she's a mermaid, so she has a siren song. And it's the strangest sound. This, in no way, shape, or form could this sound have come out of Glynis Johns. This kind of weird siren song.
They didn't even try to make it pretend like it did come out of Glynis Johns.
They didn't even try. It was just like, okay. And everybody's, of course, enamored with this voice. So he takes her to the opera because she wants to go to the opera because she's a mermaid and she has the siren song. And that's the one thing I thought was kind of interesting. So they go to the opera twice. And one of the times, of course, she falls in love with, or she seduces a friend of theirs who just got engaged, Nigel, who is played by John McCallum, who, adorable. He's an adorable guy. And he leaves his fiancée for her. Everybody's leaving their fiancés, their intendeds, their wives for Miranda. And then she goes back to the opera the second time. And do you think that's when she's got it in her mind that she has to go back into the sea? And this is my question for you. Did you get the fact because she knew she was going to have a mer baby? We got to talk about the mer baby. She has a mer baby. How? I don't understand that. Okay. How is that possible?
I had to look it up because I was like, okay, was this the product of an affair that she had with one of these men?
How?
It is in the production notes.
She's got a tail, and I mean that literally. I mean it literally.
It makes no sense. In the film, Margaret Rutherford talks about her grandchild or her nephew, one of the two.
Yeah.
And at the end of the film, that is who Miranda is holding. No explanation. You're supposed to just know this. But that is what the production notes say who that child was.
Wait a minute. Does the production notes say whose child is it? It's Margaret Rutherford's grandchild?
Margaret Rutherford's grandson or nephew, one of the two.
But he's a mer baby. He's got a tail.
I'm not trying to explain that one. I'm just merely telling you what they wanted it to look whimsical and fun. So they had her with this baby at the end, but no, there was nothing unseemly that happened that she had this mermaid.
Well, how could there be physiologically? Let's think about this for a minute. It could not have happened.
Yeah, I don't want to.
But so here's the thing, though. I got some tail from a mermaid. But so what happens is that people start to get suspicious that, of course, all these men are leaving their fiancés and their wives for this gorgeous woman named Miranda, this gorgeous invalid named Miranda. And what happens is that Paul's wife, Claire, becomes suspicious, and she reads an article about mermaids, and she figures out that Miranda is a mermaid, and she confronts her, and Miranda takes off. She gets in her wheelchair because Claire's going to tell everybody. They have to tell everybody that this is a mermaid. Gets in her wheelchair and wheels herself down to the Thames and jumps in the Thames and is on her way to Majorca. She says she has to be in Majorca by the spring for some reason. And I took that meaning she wants to be in Majorca where it's warm when she gives birth to this mer baby. That's the way I took it. Did you take it that way?
No, I didn't really know why she went. I just, honestly, when she kept talking about going to Majorca, she's like, oh, I kept thinking, oh, she's coming over my neck of the woods. That's all I kept thinking of.
I'm looking for Ingmar Bergman motives in this thing, and it's not death playing chess.
They're not there.
It is simply the story of this mermaid. So she jumps in the Thames. they're like, oh, she's gone. Let's go, I'll never go fishing again. Or I want to go fishing with you. And she's like, I'll never go fishing again. And they're happy. They're off in their Noel Coward world. And the film cuts to Miranda with her mer baby doing that siren song on a rock. And that's the end of the movie, folks.
And again, that is one of these weird, choppy endings. It's like, okay, so they're there, and all of a sudden you see her wheeling out towards the river, and there's like this very brief, oh, where does she go? Miranda, and she jumps in the water, and it's like over. I mean, it's like, it's not like this huge ordeal. It's like she jumps in the water, oh, she's gone. And then we see her sitting there with her mer baby.
There's a very, very slight moment of crisis when Claire threatens to tell the world that this is a mermaid. And then she's gone, and it's over. I kind of like that. I mean, we're dragging it out. We're not doing any car chases. Let's get the mermaid quick before she gets to the pier. You know what I mean? It's like, no, she wheels herself. She gets in that wheelchair. She wheels herself down the Thames, jumps in the Thames. Next thing you know, she's in Majorca. It's the only way to travel as far as I'm concerned.
And you know what it reminds me of when we were talking about, oh my God, I can't think of the name, Keeping Up Appearances.
Yeah.
You know how each episode of that show, there wasn't like this wham, bam, wrap up at the end. It just kind of,
Those are the Brits.
would pop her head out of the water with a flower in her head looking whimsical, and boom, that was the end of the episode. It wasn't like there had to be this major wrap up like we're
efficiency
used to today. And that was the way this was. Boop, we're done.
That's the Brits. On. You're over there now. Those are the Brits. Efficiency. That's the way it is. You know how I feel about the UK, how much I love the UK and how much I adore the UK. And that's one of the things I love about it. They're just efficient. They're like, this is the way it is. Moving on. That's it.
Well,
done.
We
Movie
have
over.
British television here, but I am watching Spanish television to try and learn Spanish better. And let me just say, I have no clue what the fuck is going on.
Well, don't be watching those telenovelas, please. So there was a sequel to this film called Mad About Men in color, and it featured Glynis Johns and Mark Rutherford. And you said you had some. Come back. She was the only one to come back, and you said you had some stuff to say about it.
There's two things that I really remember about Glynis, two stories that she told me about all the time. One was about Dennis Leary, because one of her very last films was The Ref.
Oh, yes. Okay.
One of her very last films was The Ref. I think it was like the second to last film she did. And there was a scene in The Ref. I don't even know if I've seen the film. I think I did one time, where she jumps on his back. Mm-hmm. And she shocked the director and the entire cast, shocked them all when she insisted that she was going to do that on her own and not have a stunt double. So she jumped on Dennis's back, and she was so proud of that story. She told it over and over again. I don't know why. Maybe because it was the most recent thing that she remembered, but she loved to tell that story. That, and the other thing that she used to tell me about was how much she loved Miranda and was so proud about Miranda, and how much she despised Mad About Men.
Oh, really?
Now, it's funny because if you look at Rotten Tomatoes, and if you look, Rotten Tomatoes doesn't have the critic score, but it does have the audience score. And if you look at other sources and look at critic score, both the critics and the audiences liked Mad About Men much more than Miranda. Glynis was a much different person. She loved Miranda. First of all, it was her big break in British film. She never really made the big break she ever wanted to in the U.S. But Miranda was her big break in the UK. She hated Mad About Men. She only did it because the studio made her do it. She felt it was tacky. She felt it was trashy. And that's probably why the audience liked it more. It was a little more, it was probably a little less British.
Oh, okay. Well,
I mean, it was still very British. I watched a little bit of it to kind of get an idea. But it wasn't this, it was a little more polished than what we saw.
Well, it was also later.
A little more.
It was later,
It was in color.
It was in color. Again, audiences.
It was a little more silly.
Britain reeling from the war still in 1948. So the films improved, and I think you got a little more exposition. You probably got a lot more storytelling elements than this kind of very, here's the basic story, here's the bare bones of the plot. We're done. Bye. See you later. This movie is. Yeah.
But she didn't want to do the film. The studio made her. She had to play two characters, so she had twice the screen time, which I'm sure didn't make her happy in a movie she didn't want to make.
Doesn't she play an identical cousin?
Yeah, her identical cousin who was human.
Identical human cousin, Shades of the Patty Duke Show. You look just like me. Yeah. You're my cousin. Yeah, it's...
Yeah, and just like in this, I did watch the beginning, and just like this film where the main character, the actor's character, I can't think of his name.
Paul.
Where he is, with Paul, he is in the cave with her, and there's like 30 seconds of, you're a mermaid, this is weird, to instantly he's accepted it. And
he's fine.
I'm hungry. I'm hungry.
I'm hungry. Not like, how am I going to get... There's about 5 seconds of, I got to get the fuck out of here. And then he's like, oh, no, you're beautiful. Okay, I'm okay. I'm hungry. Let's eat. It's just that fast.
I watched Mad About Men, where the human Glynis character is talking to Miranda, and there's like 10 seconds of, how curious, you're a mermaid. How can we be related? Oh, we're from different parts of the family. Oh, okay. And then they go on with the rest of the story. It's like, no, wait a minute. Life isn't that easy.
Oh, but isn't it? But maybe we just look too deeply into these things. They should just be that simple and that quick.
It really should. Why question it? Just is. Move on.
I think that you said that, she never really made the big splash in the U.S. that she wanted to, which I can kind of see that. I mean, but she did, Mm-hmm. Mary Poppins was a huge hit. Granted, she wasn't Mary Poppins, but still, It was very, very a huge hit. She had her own sitcom in 1963. Did you know that? Called Glynis. Did you know about that?
It didn't last very long, though.
No, I never it didn't. That's very strange.
And did she have a talk show? No, maybe I'm thinking of the sitcom.
Yeah, I don't think she had a talk show. But so she worked. I mean, she worked up until, you just said, she was in the movie with Dennis Leary. So she worked and worked and worked. I can understand she was upset that she didn't become Julie Andrews, or she didn't become, Julie Christie, or any of the Julies who became hot in the 60s from the UK. But she still, I mean, it's pretty impressive that she introduced Send in the Clowns and won that Tony Award for Little Night Music. And basically, I think her body of work is perfectly respectable. I get it. I can see why she was upset. But this movie, so charming, so beautiful. I highly recommend anybody to watch this movie. If they just want a good Sunday afternoon, let's watch something cute. It's less than 90 minutes. I mean, come on.
It is. It's a perfect Sunday afternoon. Get some good giggles out. Very cute. Everybody in this film is absolutely charming. It's just a lot of fun. And I will say, Glynis was disappointed that she never made the big cheese in the U.S. Yeah. But she was never bitter about it. She always spoke very, very lovingly of her career. She was very, very happy about her career. And I think just naturally she would have liked to have been bigger, like anybody did. But I don't think there was any ever bitterness that she never got bigger.
That makes me happy. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah. Because my God, you just got to be... You have to just have a certain perspective on this. And I think it's charming. She's wonderful. I've always been a big fan of Glynis Johns. And I'm an even bigger fan now after watching this delightful movie.
And the one thing I will tell you about Glynis, even though she did not play Mary, when you talk to Glynis, probably every other sentence started with, as Mary Poppins would say, and then she would either quote from the movie or from the book. She was always doing that. You would
really? That's
think
interesting.
That she had played Mary herself. Yes, she did that all the time.
No bitterness.
It was so adorable, and she did not. The fact that that movie was what people thought of her. Obviously, it never bothered her because she quoted from that all the time.
Well, I love it.
She took great pride in that.
Well, thank you for suggesting this movie, even though you didn't see it. I was like, what?
Well, like I said, it's really weird over all these years that I never got around to seeing it. But, after Glynis and I lost touch, I really enjoyed my memories of her. But I had, it just was never like, I had to see it to make my connection with her. They were two very different things. And I'm glad I finally did. Part of it was because she and I had always talked about sitting down and watching all her films together, and it never happened. So it wasn't like hurtful that it wouldn't happen, that if I did, it just wasn't as big of a draw to me anymore because that extra excitement was lost. Yeah. So I'm glad that we finally did sit down and watch this together, and it made me miss her, and I do miss Glynis. Like I said, she was a very unique individual, and easy to hate and easy to love at the same time.
Well, you can ask for more than that. You really can't.
No, you can't. You can't.
So at this point in the podcast, what I've been doing is, we've listened. So I usually say whatever Brad says, blah, 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 blah. But you're back. So I'm so happy to say this finally. Is there anything else you want to say about the film, Brad, or the podcast?
I would. I'm almost speechless. I'm so happy to be back and be saying these things again. So
good, because I'm tired of saying blah, blah, blah.
I know the fact that I've been gone for numerous weeks has made it difficult to continue to listen to this podcast, but I'm glad you hung on. And if you did hang on through all of this, it means that you do love the show. And so please rate and review this podcast so others can enjoy it as much as you do. And I am joking, of course, because Tony did a tremendous job. And thank you to all the guest co-hosts. And so please rate and review the show. And more than anything, tell your friends about us, because that's the really important part. Get more people listening to us.
So true. It's so true. And by the way, did you ever find the name of that wonderful listener who suggested Valley of the Dolls?
You know, I
No, he
listened to
didn't.
that episode, and I thought I need to look her up, but I have been so insanely busy getting used to my new town and trying to get around in a place where I can't even speak the same language that, no, I have not looked her up, but I will do it for next week.
Well, or here's the thing. Listener, we plead with you. If you're listening to this, let us know. Send us an email to goinghollywoodpod@gmail.com. Text us. I want to thank you for that, because I had a hell of a lot of fun talking about Valley of the Dolls, both episodes, the one by myself and the one with Brad.
It was a lot of fun.
And we want to be able to thank you, and I feel terrible about the fact that we can't say your name. Maybe you don't want to say your name, which is fine. Just then email us and say, I don't want you to say my name. But it was a lot of fun.
We're going to ask two things of you. One, forgive us.
Yeah.
And two, let us know who you are.
I guarantee you, when we get these reviews now, I'm always looking for them, because now that I know how it works, now that I realize you can leave reviews, I'm always looking for them. So we appreciate it. I read some while you were gone. I read some of the reviews during the Valley of the Dolls episode, they were some wonderful, wonderful. We need to do a Disney movie. Maybe we should do Mary Poppins.
Oh, that would be fun.
Because a fan of Disney, someone who left us a wonderful review, is obviously a fan of Disney. So we should do that. But yeah.
But I have real issues with Mary Poppins.
We'll save him for the episode.
I'm kidding.
I don't need to hear him now. Jesus. He's back for 45 minutes and already he's dogging me from Spain. So anyway, I'm so happy Brad is back. And then we're done. So I'm happy about that too. So we have one more episode before we wrap up our second season of Going Hollywood. And it's not really our Christmas episode, but if all things go according to plan, it's going to drop on Christmas Eve, I believe. So you can kind of think of it as a Christmas episode. But what I like to think about it is it's a suggestion. And who suggested this movie, Brad?
My husband.
Yay, Maurice, yay! We're going to do it. Finally, we're going to talk about, fingers crossed, we're going to talk about the women. And you know what? George Stevens didn't direct it, so I think we're okay. However, who knows? Who knows with this guy? He's in Spain. He's off the charts. Who knows how he's going to appeal? How he's going to find this? I have no idea. There's a lot of things to say about it. Because it's very much of its time, of its era, but that's one of the reasons why I love it.
Oh, I've got lots of things to say about it regarding its time.
I'm sure you do. It's going to be a Christmas stocking full of all kinds of goodies that we're going to have for you for our season finale. Wow. Well, I guess that was Miranda. I guess there's nothing more. There's only one thing more left to say, Brad, but I don't, you know what? I haven't seen you so long and I want to say it. So let's not say goodbye. Let's say au revoir.
No, let's say adios.
I knew you were going to do that. Goodbye, everybody. Adios.
That's all, folks.